drink of water to start us
Slurp.
off.
Ooh, I gotta stay hydrated for this spicy conversation we're about to have.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to What's Going On. As you can tell, today we are without my co-host Grace, but we are with me, Jack. Hello. And we are here with my good friend Jenny, aka WearILive on YouTube. She's an icon, she's a legend, she's a star. Welcome, Jenny.
Hi, Jack. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for that beautiful introduction.
Yeah, so Jenny, you're amazing. That was great.
So are you, Jack.
Aw, thank you, everyone. And Jenny, by
know.
everyone I mean Jenny.
I think
I want to hear in the comments below.
Also goes wild.
Where are you coming from? I'm speaking to you today from New York City. Jenny, how about you?
I am in sunny Los Angeles. Though it is kind of cloudy today, but
love that.
We're about to get rain.
Nice.
A lot of rain.
Well, Jenny, for those of you who don't know you, I'm going to try and intro you a little bit. Jenny is a content creator who I really admire, who I don't know if you would say this, but I'm saying it.
Okay.
You make content that is very like intentional, so maybe slower paced than like the current meta tells people to be. I don't know, I really appreciate your content. You've been a YouTuber for many years now. Am I missing anything? How would you describe your content?
I think that is like a good way to put it. Like to sum it all up, I think I've always been like into making maybe longer form, more like thoughtful content. I don't know. People tell me my stuff is chill. So
yeah,
they watch my videos to feel chill, which I love.
Yeah. Your videos do have a very chill effect. As you can see here, let's see, we're about 20 seconds into this first video, not a word spoken. And like that, it goes against, in my opinion, like sort of the whole meta of TikTok right now of like, you've got to capture people within the first like 3 seconds or whatever, and like everything like that.
Maybe I could use some advice. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, look, this video reset with me has 75,000 views. It's like clearly doing well. People, I think, maybe are craving some of this content that like is just kind of chill and I don't know, like finds beauty in the mundane, less crazy. We're literally a minute into this video. You haven't said a word. I'm going to, you know, that's just a tidbit of sort of Jenny's content. So I want to talk about sort of that vibe today and how you and your creative process. So why don't you talk about why you make this content and what you love about it? And
I guess it's so funny to watch my own videos like more objectively, like sitting here watching it with you, hearing your thoughts, like is so different than what goes on in my mind when I'm making videos. I think it's also like the style that I really came into that I liked when I started creating videos and maybe they started going well was a different era, I guess, of like YouTube. Whereas now we're seeing the quick format, like TikTok, everyone has the same voice of like, I'm going to tell you what you need to know right now. And like grabs your attention. It does. But I think my style of editing and just my style of life like does reflect that I like to, like you said, the beauty in the mundane. I'm like, that's what interests me, I think. And it is much harder to do that in something that is more, what is the word I'm looking for? Like in your face. I'm not trying to say that in a bad way, but in your face. I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which I think, yeah, big struggle as of recent and this year, you know, with TikTok really taking off. I think it's such a internal debate of mine to either you either adapt with the times or you maybe potentially get kind of lost in the sauce, which
Right.
is, yeah, I think is always, as a creator, like the internal battle of like, do I go against my own grain to kind of give people seemingly what they want, I
Hmm.
guess. Though I'm like, do people want this, or are we all just like get distracted so easily that we like to just see a lot of things? I don't know. I don't know.
Right. Well, and it also begs the question of like, especially your audience itself, like, do they want short form content, or are they like you? Are
Mm-hmm.
they drawn to longer form? Um, and it also like makes you think about like, should we be looking for new audiences all the time, or fostering our current audience that we already have? Right? There's all these sort of factors at play with this new meta of video making.
Yeah, I think it's also hard because it's funny now that we're talking about this because I think the pendulum is just like always swinging like this and this. And over the years, I've noticed it, but then it always kind of come like there's always a period that it comes back to people being like, actually, I don't like short form. Like, I'm annoyed at this short form content. I miss YouTube. And they'll come back.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like
Yeah.
that's just constantly happening. But it is funny, like now that YouTube, I don't know if they're gonna get mad at me for saying
Say
it.
what
No,
you have
now
to
that
say.
now that YouTube is like doing shorts or whatever, but it is funny because creators were getting based on the algorithm, we're basically being rewarded for having longer videos because you
Yeah.
can fit more ads into the longer videos. And so YouTube was pushing videos that were 20 minutes, but then they
Yeah.
also are jumping on the bandwagon of 15 seconds, you know? And so there's just like so much going on. Um, but I think also, yeah, with the question of what draws me to long form content over short form is like, I've been trying to pinpoint this in my life of why do I like doing what I'm doing. And I think it just breeds a lot more of a room for like storytelling.
Yeah.
And that is what I enjoy. Like, I enjoy the cinematography, I enjoy the editing, and just like, just a story behind it. And I know I feel closer to people when I know more of their stories. So like other YouTubers, etc. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think what you're getting at is, yeah, like, firstly, the creative process is so important as a creator, because if you're sacrificing that process, like, it may lead to burnout.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm wary of that. And also, like, yeah, like you're saying, like, I think you can learn a lot more about a person in a 15-minute long chill video than you can in like a 1 minute TikTok, right? And I think um, that's really important for like longevity of success
Mm-hmm.
online, is making sure that your audience, or the people that find you, actually like care for you, care about
Mm-hmm.
your content. They will be more loyal if you decide to switch content subject matters. They'll be more loyal long term, especially as like the creative space and the content creation space gets more like competitive, I guess, and more
Mm-hmm.
there's more and more creators every day. Um, so that's why I like really love your content. Like, when I watch your content, I really feel like closeness to you, which I think
Oh.
is a really unique thing. And it's why like I feel like we became friends, is because
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, like I can actually feel like I have a good sense of who this person is off of the internet
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I felt the same about you where I was like, watch, I think I watched what Jack used to do YouTube people. He'll be back one day. Um, and yeah, watch one of your, you know, like you can just get a sense where I was like immediately like, oh, I have to be friends with him. I think I slid into your comments and was like, let's hang
Yeah,
out, you know?
right.
And we were right. We were correct.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah,
that
and
always happen? I don't know, but
I don't know. I mean, it seems like the audience agrees though. Like, there is more of a feel of like hanging out with the actual person, less of a
yeah.
facade than short form. Now, my question, so I think we both agree that there like is something special about long form content, about intentional content. We've both sort of done this content before. You definitely did it before I did it, and I sort of was inspired by you, I think, to also make this type of content.
Yeah.
But now I wonder, like, is there a place for slow content creation online? Like, I don't know. I'm curious about what you think, because obviously your videos are still getting views, but
they're going down for sure. Like, let's just say, I mean, I'll be honest about it. I'm like, they always drop in the summer. Like, that is a thing.
yeah,
I've noted, I've been on YouTube for so long that, like, analytically, they always drop a little bit in the summer because people are busy. I'm like, go live your lives. Like, stop. Like, they're not watching as much YouTube, thank God. You know, like, I'm like, go live your lives. It's nice outside.
yeah.
So that's something that I always try not to panic over. However, I do think they're also just dropping in general. I think people are watching less YouTube for sure.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah. But then there
Yeah.
are also other like lifestyle creators that are more on an algorithmic wave than I am. Like, I think, yeah, I'm not sure where I am in the graces of the algorithm, but it hasn't been the best, which is fine. I've also kind of been I've been in a slower paced year. I have not been putting out as much content as I have in the past. So I think that has to do with it. But I look at that and I'm like, there are still people who are putting up vlogs that are getting 1 million views, 200,000 views. Like, they're still doing really well. So that gives me hope where I'm like, people are watching. They're maybe just like not watching me right now, which is, fine. I get it.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I feel like there has got to be a place for slow content creation, for intentional content, or at least for longer form. But my like thing comes in, or my, I don't know, like sort of devil's advocate is like, yes, there's a place for long form, definitely. But like we were saying earlier, like if you're going to do long form, it's got to be long. Like it's got to be like 20 minutes long, and it's got to be frequent. Like, like sort of TikTok, like it's almost the same strategy, which is like more is more, right? But it's just with long form content, which is so hard to put out so much long form content.
I think that is like my biggest gripe with it all right now. A creator like Rachel Nguyen, she's like That's Chic online. She made a video recently really eloquently putting that into words of just like how much that specifically leads to burnout, and like also leads to people not being as creative. Like especially with TikTok, I think, to say some good things about TikTok, I love TikTok because people are funny. It's more like free. Like, I think people are like more able to just like let their like personality show, because people are like attracted to personality on TikTok. Like, that's how you get noticed. But at the same time, it's just like a spinning wheel of trends that like by the time, if you're not really paying attention, if you're not on TikTok scrolling and spending 2 hours a day to find the trends that everyone's doing, you can't make them, obviously. Like, you have to be constantly paying attention. So it just feeds to like spending a lot of time on social media, then having like creating, and then putting up a massive amount of content that is like maybe not like aligned like with your creative process, like it's really hard to make everything feel like you. And I really struggle with that, where I'm like, if I put out anything that feels not like genuine, I guess, of like, I really wanted to make this, it's really like, that's how you start to burn online, like burn out, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I want to also just take a moment to go back to your channel. So this is your channel. I am interested in it because I see that the most recent video is actually a YouTube short. So I'm interested in whether or not you have what?
Like,
no, you should be proud of all you've done. I mean, I think you have a thriving channel. I mean, like, I think your views are actually really good for all things considered,
I do
especially given the
wanna,
wave.
I am noticing that you are not subscribed.
This is from the Kapwing account, not from my personal. I am from my personal. Yikes! All right, let me go subscribe right
Ouchie.
now. Subscribe, yes, turn on the notification. But yeah, I'm interested in that. Out of all of these videos, all of them long form, we have one ad. It's an ad, and it's a YouTube short. Are you getting into short form content at all? And what's your sort of, I don't know, like, have you tried to make quick content? How does it make you feel? How does it like affect your business? I'm interested in like if you've experimented with that and what you thought of it.
Yeah, I think I have the most aversion to reels for some reason. Like deep in my core, I just like don't want to make reels. I think a lot of people feel that way. I think my Instagram, like, it just makes me annoyed. TikTok, I do actually. I've been experimenting. I'm not as like frequent over there. I think I have fun with TikTok because it does like allow me to like kind of be silly, and like I'll just be laying in bed and like make a little TikTok that's just like funny. Or if I think of a joke, I'll like just like quickly make a TikTok, and it's just for fun, and I don't really have like this high attachment to it. But I think, yeah, it's harder with YouTube Shorts and with Reels because I know I have the option of long form content, and I do just like gravitate towards that more, where I'm like, I could make you a morning routine on YouTube and make it really pretty and use my nice camera and like just edit it, choose the music I like, or I can like cram it all into 60 seconds and put it on Reels, and like maybe it'll do better, but it just makes me, I don't like being forced to do things, and I think that it just like makes me have this aversion to doing it, I guess. But that's also, I think, to my own demise, unfortunately.
Right. And yeah, I am interested in the fact that, one more time, this is actually an ad. That's
that was actually
YouTube short.
Is
so
sponsored
are like brands
by YouTube. That one actually
sponsored by YouTube.
Yeah.
Whoa, nice.
Which is interesting. Yeah, the two shorts that I've done, honestly, have been sponsored by YouTube. Which they were fun to make because they'll come up with these kind of creative concepts around, like, this one was around Fashion Week. The last one was around, I think, sustainability.
Nice.
We're gonna go.
Sorry, I'm just playing it now. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so you're like, most, like, I don't know. Do you think brands more and more, given that this is an ad, I mean, obviously, given that it's YouTube, obviously they're promoting shorts, so that's going to be different.
Yeah.
But do you feel like brands are now prioritizing short form versus long form, or still do you think long form is the brand safe haven? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, like, I haven't necessarily noticed a gap in not getting, maybe the level of sponsorships for YouTube hasn't changed for me. Obviously, like, a percentage of my income comes from, I do like a sponsored video or two. I think I usually do 2 or 3 on my YouTube channel per month, right? So that number hasn't changed for me, but I have noticed more and more of like TikTok. It does seem like there's just more and more interest in like TikTok specifically from brands or Reels. And I think that, yeah, it's hard to, I mean, I do think, even talking to my manager is talking about that, like, it seems like that is kind of where more brands are putting more money and more focus, just because they kind of see that as the future. Will that pendulum swing? Like, I think I also, since I have been making YouTube videos for so long, I think it puts me in a nice niche where when people want to do YouTube, they're like, oh, we know that is long form creator. Like, we have a YouTube budget, we'll spend it on her. Like, that type of thing, I guess, from a brand perspective, because not everyone who does TikTok makes YouTube videos, Right. So totally. I think it's like easier. YouTube is always, I think, the harder one to get into because it takes 1,000%. A lot more work and it takes a lot more consistency. And if you aren't consistent with it, it won't go very, like, it usually won't go very well. And like, so I think it's way harder to break into YouTube. So that I think I feel grateful for that I already have that aspect down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, something we've been getting at also, I think, is that, right, like whether long form or short form, kind of more is more online
Yeah.
in terms of like algorithm. So do
Yeah.
you think there's a way to change this sort of creator mindset, or viewer mindset, and push towards like not more isn't always more. Sometimes the intentional content is actually better than quantity.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that it's the viewer problem. I think it's an algorithmic problem, which I think we could, you know, if we want to get into capitalism, we could. But it's just like, unfortunately, if I think from my perspective, if the algorithm sees you making more content, they're more likely to push you because they have faith that you're going to continue making more content.
Right.
So they want you to reap the rewards. They want to reap the rewards. So I'm like, I think I noticed that like if I'm not as consistent, it's like I just don't even know that people are seeing that I've posted or seeing that like I'm not being suggested. Like I think it's, I don't know, but then it's like, does algorithm reflect what people want in a lot of ways? Yes. So it's, I don't know. That's kind of like a hard struggle of like, how do we like find like peace with that? I think, yeah, the creator I spoke about earlier, she posts like maybe like a few times a year at this point, and she's also been on YouTube for a really long time, but her videos are like, they're killer, like, and everyone knows it. And I think people do still come back for her videos, even without them being consistent, because they know when they watch one, it's going to be a good one. So I'm like, in that way, I think that inspires me, where I'm like, okay, what if I took a step back and could just make these videos that I'm like super, super proud of?
Yeah.
Not that I'm not proud of my content, I think, but when you're on like a fast hamster wheel, you just like at some point have to accept that it's done and like just put it out, you know?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think to go back to like the algorithm, yeah, I don't know whether or not it's like the algorithms. Well, I do think it is a product of the algorithm, and it is kind of the fault of the algorithm because, like you were saying, like maybe it's what people actually want, but like I think it is, but like it's preying upon people's, I don't know, like addictive personality almost, right? Of like,
Yeah.
you want new content, you want something new, you want to see different people like all the time.
Scary.
Yeah, and so I wonder, like, I don't know. I do think as people become like more and more addicted to the internet, which I do think will just continue to happen, like that's going to be here to stay. But I also think there will always be sort of like a counterculture of the
Yeah.
internet, of people who purposefully try to subvert that like sort of addiction and slow things down, which is
Yeah.
like maybe the people that you're creating for as well.
Yeah, I feel like that is me, where I'm always like, no, like I'm not gonna do what they want. Like it took me forever to even make a TikTok. Like I was just like, no. And then of course one day I'm like, all right, like fine, I'll
Yeah.
keep up with the times. But like, you know, yeah, I think I know that personality trait of just like, but what if we just stayed the same?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm also interested in, so obviously you're making long form content, intentional content, but I'm also interested in like your media diet. Like, do you consume
Oh, okay.
mostly long form content, or do you consume most like a lot of short form as well?
I'm trying to think. I'm like, I also feel like I watch less YouTube
Yeah.
these days, which
Yeah.
I'm like, shoot, like I get it. I don't know why that is. I think it's also like in summer, I just don't spend as much time watching YouTube. But I do think it's like maybe a cultural shift that has me feeling like, yeah, like almost the same thing of like not sitting long enough to watch a long form video sometimes. Like I have to be in a certain mood. I still think I consume a lot of Instagram. Unfortunately, I have it deleted right now because I just like realized that I scroll too much.
Yeah.
And then I've never really developed a strong relationship with TikTok. Like I'm not someone who scrolls for like hours every night.
Me
I'll
neither.
get on it for like 20 minutes maybe and like look at cute dog videos and like laugh for a second and then I just kind of like bow out.
Yeah.
So but I'm like I do love YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
it's hard.
maybe it's also like a generational difference. I mean, obviously there's always going to be people who mix and match. You know, there's going to be older people who prefer short form, and like younger people who probably prefer long form. But I do wonder, like you were saying, when content creators were like becoming a thing online, when we were younger, like it was
Yeah.
all long form, and everyone wanted to be a
Yeah.
YouTuber, and like we developed these relationships with people that we like online, whether we actually know them or we're just fans of them, right? And now,
Yeah.
like if you're, I don't know, in high school or middle school now, like you're probably going to short form. So I wonder if those divides will always stay, where like you and me and the people who grew up on YouTube will always be loyal to those
Yeah.
YouTubers and to long form, and if people who weren't will be loyal to short form.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I guess personally, my loyalty lies with YouTube. My like in my heart, I have like a special place for it. I mean, I'm biased obviously because I've spent literally the past 8 years of my life only thinking about YouTube for the past 8 years of my life, every day, day in, day out. Yeah.
Are you well? Are you hanging in there?
Bye, Jack. I'm well. I'm well. Thank you for
Good.
asking.
Yeah,
Oy
I'm
vey.
interested to hear from the comment section. Are you guys loyal to YouTube, or are you loyal, or at least experimenting with short form more? I definitely would consider myself, like you are, a long form loyalist, and I like never really have gotten TikTok. Like I enjoy seeing TikToks like on Twitter,
Uh-huh.
and like on Instagram. Like I'm kind of an Instagram loyalist too,
Yeah.
and but yeah, I don't know. Like for some reason, YouTube will always be like where I go to if I ever want to watch something, if I'm ever bored, if
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And maybe that's just like, yeah, does that make me like dated? Like, am I like,
Yeah,
I
dude,
don't
I don't
know.
know. I don't know. I'm like, am I old? Like maybe I mean I guess I am. I'm getting older every day, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
But
maybe that's good
yeah.
though, because maybe, I don't know. I get the sense that like the older we get individually, like maybe the more we reject this super
Mm-hmm.
short form content as well, because we crave like stability in like who our creators are, perhaps, or
Yeah.
um I don't know, like maybe that will actually be good for someone who creates longer form intentional content, sort of slower content like you, because as
Yeah.
your audience grows older too, like
Yeah. Yeah. With me. Yeah, of course.
maybe they will want that more and more.
I do find it hard where I find myself like in this kind of like pushed into this kind of niche on YouTube where it's like vlogging only,
Hmm.
where I didn't used to only make vlogs. But now I think about it and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make a thrift haul. I'm gonna make a skincare routine. I'm gonna make a like styling video, and I automatically am like, I should make them for TikTok. I shouldn't make them for YouTube. So then it leaves me with only doing like the vlogging for YouTube, and then I find myself like a little bit like just exhausted from that aspect because it's like not as creative. It's more just like along with my daily life. I don't know if that makes sense,
Yeah.
but I'm like, you kind of have to pick and choose like which content goes where, and then like where it's going to do the best. Like all of that just feels, I think I'm in a confusing place that has led me just to making nothing because I'm like
Yeah.
figuring out what it, yeah, where
Yeah.
to
I mean, I
go
think the
now.
secret probably is taking, like maybe making everything, I would think, make everything for YouTube and then just repurpose it into a TikTok, right? Like take your
Yeah.
favorite minute or re-edit it together. I know, it can be extra work, but shout out to Kapwing. That's what we do. We repurpose content. But
Wow,
yeah,
wait,
I feel like
that's actually so I wasn't even trying to set you up there. That's so funny.
no, but it's true. It's like there's no way, in my opinion, that like unless you're just like the ultimate hustler, that you can create completely new content for YouTube, TikTok, Reels,
Yeah.
Shorts, right? Whatever. Like, I think create one, repurpose everything, and because then like you can always have your home base, which is YouTube, but
Hmm.
you can like market yourself on all these other platforms through the
Yeah,
algorithms
true.
there, and then hopefully just refer people back to like your bread and butter.
Yeah.
Which is like what we did for our podcast as well. Like we were a long form podcast first, but we could make clips, right? And then like
Hmm.
that really, really helped growth. So just
Yeah,
my 2 cents.
you have popped up on my TikTok feed, I feel like, before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
True. Great advice. Wow. You're
cool.
my new
Well, I think our job here is done. I think we've talked our way through short form content, or long form and short form, slow content, intentional content. I just want to say, Jenny, thank you so much for coming on. You have such a lovely outlook on content. It's very refreshing. I highly recommend everyone go check out Jenny's content if you're ever feeling stressed or need to slow down. It's like really a great way to unwind, I feel, which is like such a special skill. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming.
That's very kind. Thank you for having me. It's always
Of
a
course.
pleasure, Jack Dodge.
Always, always. All of Jenny's links will be in the description below, so go check them out. And I will see you guys next Friday with another special guest. And until then, ta-ta.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
Bye.